Welcome to From Gambia channel. Welcome to From Gambia channel. Subscribe for more news. Subscribe for more news.
It's a check for an amount of $277,260. 277,260. Made out to Sekou Drameh. The check was encashed on the 19th of May 2015. The check itself is dated 6th of May 2015.
Okay, what is the check number?
Check number is 019-78995.
We have the ID number of Mr.
Yes, Sekou Drameh. The NIN on the ID is 150580-01-078.
Thank you. Next transaction, please.
The next transaction is also a check. Check itself dated 18th May 2015 and encashed 19th May 2015, and the amount is $974,070. 974070. Made out to Fonyi Carpentry and Construction.
That's a customer of your bank.
That's a customer of Trust Bank.
What is the account number?
110-624-84201.
And the check number?
The check number is 019-78994.
Next transaction?
Next transaction is also a check. Check itself dated 22nd of June 2015, transacted on the 23rd of June 2015 for an amount of $417,175. 417,175. Check made out to Fonyi Carpentry and Construction.
Is it the same customer referred to?
Yes, it's the same account number, it's the same customer.
Just for the record, who signed the checks for Fonyi? Let's just go back two transactions, or the transactions we started this afternoon. Let's say we started with Sekou Drameh. Who signed the check?
I can recognize that of Noah Toure. The other signatory I have to check.
Noah Toure only?
It's one of the signatories.
Who is the other signatory? You have two, don't you?
Yes, that one I have to check. I cannot tell at the top of my head.
Can you refer to your documentation to tell us who the signatory was?
That's what I'm trying to do. Documents are with you, but I can go by the summary I did. The account opening forms are with you.
Do you want to borrow the account opening?
Sorry?
Do you want to borrow the account opening information you tendered in order to help us?
Yes, or I go by the summary I made, because I extracted that from the account opening. Going by the date, May 2015. Oh, there are 4 signatories here. I wouldn't know. I need to borrow the account opening.
Sorry, who?
There are 4 signatories from this time, so I don't want to guess. If I can borrow the account opening.
Okay, can you give him the account opening information? Which is exhibit BB23, I believe.
very similar to that of Lamin Nyabali. It looks like it's Lamin Nyabali, then Secretary General.
Lamin Jammeh.
Lamin Nyabali.
Lamin Nyabali.
Lamin Nyabali, yes.
All right. Thank you. The first transaction, Fonye Carpentry Workshop of 19th May, can you?
It's the same signatories for Sekou Drame, the first Fonye Carpentry and the second Fonye Carpentry is the same signatories.
The same signatories?
Same signatories, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Let's move on then. The next transaction.
The next transaction for $500,000 is an instruction. Instruction itself dated 13th October 2015, transacted at Trust Bank on 14th October 2015. Instruction to pay MS trading as FMS Enterprise $500,000, and it coded an account number where to credit.
Okay, who are the signatories of the instruction?
Aissatou Oba and Ismaila Sanyang.
Was there any explanation for the transaction, for the payment instruction?
Not on this authority.
Let's move on then. Next transaction.
The next transaction similarly is an instruction. Instruction itself dated 13th of October 2015, transacted at Trust Bank on 14th of October 2015. Instruction to pay Dembo Mane $600,000 and an account number of Trust Bank is quoted.
Welcome to From
Instruction
Gambia
signed by
channel.
Aissatou
Welcome
Oba,
to From
Permanent Secretary,
Gambia
and Ismaila
channel.
Sanyang,
Subscribe
Deputy
for
Secretary to
more
Cabinet.
news. Subscribe
What
for
is the
more
account
news.
number?
For Dembo,
Dembo Mane, yes.
110000460602.
That's a customer of your bank.
That's a customer of Trust Bank.
The purpose of the transaction, is it stated?
It's not indicated here.
Next transaction.
The final debit transaction to a customer is also an instruction. Instruction itself dated 13th October 2015, transacted at Trust Bank Limited on 14th October 2015, 14th October 2015. Instruction to pay Fonye Carpentry Workshop and an account number is indicated for an amount of $974,070, $974,070.
That is the same customer of the bank.
Yes, it's the same account number.
And that you said was the last debit.
That's the last debit to a customer, yes.
Thank you. Before we move on, do you have the information regarding the credits into the account now?
My team have just called to inform me that they have completed it and they are on their way coming.
Okay. All right, that's good. Because there is some outstanding information that we required from the evidence of Mr. Au. I hope you can provide it. You were summoned to also provide the account opening information of the customers, your own customers to whom payments were made. And Mr. Au, unfortunately, had only one of them, event management. We would like the account opening information of Sheriff Sawane. Do you have it?
I do.
But before we go on to that, you had the evidence that you just gave on all the deposits. You have all the information together as you were presenting it. Can I have the information?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
All the deposits in respect of which you gave evidence.
The deposits or the withdrawals?
Withdrawals in respect of which you gave evidence.
Yes.
You were putting the information aside. Can I have the information
Sure.
now? Thank you very much. had a summary from which you were referring to. You had a summary
Summary of what?
of the withdrawals. You said you had a summary that you had prepared, and you were.
What I was explaining is, on top there's a statement.
Yes.
If you look at the first page, against a debit there is a number in red. If you remove the statement, you'll see the vouchers. So you can reconcile easily. Number one on the statement refers to number one on the voucher.
That's what you
Like
that's what you are doing. It's not that you prepared a summary. I misunderstood.
No,
you.
the
I
summary was on the signatories.
very well.
Signatories.
That's fine.
Signatories.
I'm applying to have the withdrawals admitted. Do you have the summary of the signatories? That might be helpful to the commissioners. The summary of the signatories. Can you collect them, please?
statement on the tax recovery account covering A, first January 2013 to 12 August 2017, and B, 1st August 2014 to 11th August 2017. Admitted in evidence marked BB 24 in a bundle. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You did say you had the account opening information of Sheriff Savani. Can we go back to that? Can we have it, please? What is the name on the statement? The account, sorry, the proper name of the account.
Name on the account reads Competence Company Limited.
That's the name on the account.
So we have a certificate of incorporation, business registration, GRA TIN certificate, GPPA certificate, a supplier contractor, and a signature card, copy of the signature card.
Just hold on a moment. So it's a limited liability company.
Well, it reads Competent Company Limited, yes.
Do you have the memorandum and articles of association?
No, I don't have it with me.
To have it admitted.
Certificate of incorporation and other registration documents of Competence Company Limited. Admitted.
incorporation as well as the business registration indicate this is a limited liability company. There is nothing on the face of it which connects it to Sheriff Sawane. Do you have the memorandum and articles of association?
I will have to check, but it's not with me here.
Do you have the account opening information? Because this does not include the account opening information. The forms that they fill, since it's a company, I would expect the resolutions of the board of directors.
Exactly. Well, there should be account opening documentation. I agree with you.
But you don't have it with you?
I don't have it with me.
Now, on the type of business here is described as consultancy, documentation, and act as estate agent.
This is
consultancy, documentation, and act as estate agent. That's what we have here. Although there is a GPPA, that's Gambia Public Procurement certificate, which says construction and consultancy only. We would require the bank to provide the account opening information. We would like to know who the directors of the companies are from the date the account was opened up to date. Can you provide that? When can you provide this information?
Depending on when I leave here, obviously I'm heading back to the office and we will cause a search.
Can you provide it on Wednesday, please?
We can be here on Wednesday and give you an update.
All right. Thank you very much. Do you have the account opening information of Omar Jibril Salah? That's account number 110003440.
Yes, I have signature card here with me. Which says this account was opened or updated 20th of March 1996.
20th March 1996.
There is a signature card where his name is, there's an account number, there's an address that says care of Ministry of Defense, State House, there's a telephone number, occupation civil servant, and it says transferred from Meridian Bank. So maybe it's account that we are absorbed from Meridian Bank to Trust Bank. Sure.
I have the documents, please. The statement of account of Omar Jibril Salah?
No, I didn't bring it along.
It was not tendered?
Yes, I only brought along tax recovery statement.
We would require the statement of account of Omar Jibril Salah from the date the account was opened today. I'm applying to have this document admitted as the signature card of Omar Jibril Salah. What about Muhammad Murtada Sisi? Muhammad Murtada Sisi.
Muhammad Murtada Sisi. The name doesn't.
Muhammad
Murtada Sisi. Now that's one of the two names wherein we said we don't recognize them as our customers.
Is that your customer?
We don't recognize them as our customers. Okay. There's another name there, I think, on the list.
So it's a cash transaction. Do you have the account opening information of Fonyi Carpentry Construction. Fonyi Carpentry and Construction, or is it workshop or construction? Account number 03110624843201.
Yes.
Sorry, hold it.
Fonyi Carpentry.
Council, are you tendering signature card of Omar Jibril Salah? Very well. Signature
Yes,
card
thank you.
of Omar Jibril Salah at Trust Bank, admitted and marked BB 26. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are those the only documents you require in order to open an account? The signature card. Do you have other documents? His ID number? His TIN number?
Welcome to From Gambia channel.
in
Welcome to From
1990s, I don't
Gambia
believe TIN was
channel.
existing.
Subscribe for more
That may
news.
well be. What about
Subscribe
his
for more
ID card?
news.
No, I don't think the bank used to enforce that. So I don't have ID with for him also.
You don't have his ID.
No. You can check again what I told you. I don't think we have his ID.
Omar Jibril Salah has been operating an account until 20, and the payments that you referred to are quite recent, until 2016.
Possibly the account is still current, it's still operational.
Are you not required to have his identification?
Yes, it's an ongoing exercise and it should be updated.
Well, we will require the bank to produce identification for that account.
It's personal identification.
All right. Thank you very much. Can we have the account opening information of Fonyi Carpentry Workshop? Do you have it?
Sorry?
Fonyi Carpentry Workshop.
Yes. We have a signature card, business registration,
Sorry, signature card.
business registration.
What is the name on the account? Is it Fonyi Carpentry Workshop or Fonyi Carpentry and Construction?
It should be Matar Jaju trading as Fonyi Carpentry Workshop.
Can you repeat the name, please?
Matar Jaju.
Matar Jaji,
Yes. Trading as
Fonyi Carpentry Workshop.
Fonyi Carpentry Workshop.
Account number?
110-624-84201.
Okay. So what information do you have? You said you had the signature card.
Yes,
You had the
signature
business
card
registration.
index, signature card index card, business registration, which is in the name of Matar Jaju and trading as Fonyi Carpentry.
Do you have his identification documentation?
Yes, his picture is on the account opening form. It's on the signature card.
His ID card?
No, I'm not sure. In the vouchers that I submitted, he must have encashed a transaction. His ID may be there.
Very well. That may well be. We'll check. All right, let me have the document.
Okay.
What business does he do?
Construction, carpentry and construction, woodworking and construction.
applying to have the documents admitted?
Card of Funyi Carpentry Workshop, Matar Jaju, at Trust Bank, dated 11th of September 2007, admitted mark DD 27.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What about the
index card of Funyi?
Sorry, done? Okay. What about MS Enterprise? Trading as by MS Enterprise. By MS trading as FMS Enterprise. Do you have its account opening information?
Yes, we have account opening information.
Tell us what you have.
The account opening form, the signature and the index cards.
What's his proper name? The name of the account?
FM&S Enterprises.
It's an enterprise, not a limited liability company. What is the person, the proprietor of the enterprise?
I believe it is 5M Singati. I stand to be corrected, but that's what I think. 5M Singati.
5M Singati.
That's what I believe.
It's not stated in the account opening information.
It's not stated on this. His name is not stated here. On the vouchers, the name may have been there. I've seen it somewhere. 5 Singati.
What is that? What are requirements for enterprises?
Yes, actually, yes. Director's name, Fai Singati.
Fai Singati.
Yeah, Fai Singati.
Do you have his identification number?
ID here.
You have his ID?
No identification with me. Yes.
Okay. Do you have an address on it?
Just says Banjul.
Yes,
3 OAU Boulevard. 3 OAU Boulevard, Banjul.
Okay, thank you. Can I have the document? You don't have the business registration? Certificate?
No, I don't have it with me.
You are required to have the business registration certificate.
There should be. There should have been.
Can you make a search for it, please,
I will.
and provide it? I'm applying to have the document submitted.
So if the document is missing, we would like you to provide evidence of deferral or waiver and follow-up letters in sequence requesting for it. Is that possible to have?
If it is missing,
If it is missing,
yes, we should write to the customers.
you will provide us
Okay.
evidence of deferral or
Okay.
waiver from your management.
Okay.
And then the subsequent letters requesting for the documents to be
To be
in file.
provided.
Yeah?
Signature card, index card, and current account opening form for FM&S Enterprises in Trust Bank. I emphasize FM&S Enterprises because I keep hearing FMS. I think the proper designation is FM&S Enterprises. Admitted in evidence, mark DB28.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The final customer on our list is Dembo Mane. Do you have his account opening information?
Signature card, index card. Dembo Mane. I have a signature and an index card for FM.
It's an individual account.
It's an individual account.
Can you confirm the number?
Account number, you mean? 11204600601.
What's his address and his ID card number?
This is address address Bunyadu Village, Nyumi.
Sorry?
Bunyadu Village, Nyumi.
Okay.
And occupation is says a farmer.
The operator?
Occupation. It says a farmer.
A farmer. All right. Well, thank you. Can we have the account opening information that you have? Does he have the ID card?
An ID number is quoted here, national ID 087617. But the ID document itself is not here. The ID number is quoted, a number is quoted here.
Okay. Can I have the document? Did you provide his bank statement?
Dembo money, no.
You did not provide his bank statement. Can you provide his bank statement, please? Sorry, provide it. Right? To have the signature card and other information of Dembo Mane admitted.
An index card for Dembo Mane in Trust Bank, admitted Mark BD 2929.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Sala. The missing information has to be provided by Wednesday, please, because we really don't have time. Unless the honorable commissioners have any questions for you.
Yeah, we do.
You can be okay.
A few. Mr. Sala, let's take you back to the tax recovery account. In your deliberation, this is just for confirmation, did you have a letter from the Minister of Finance requesting you to open this account in your bank?
Not addressed to Trust Bank, I said addressed to the Secretary General.
Okay.
But so that letter was part of the account opening documentation, not addressed direct to the bank.
So in the, okay, I understand. The letter was addressed to the Secretary General,
wherein is
giving him approval
to open an account with Trust Bank.
Okay. So in opening the accounts, they filled out the account opening forms.
Yes.
Your own forms.
Yes.
Who filled it out? The Secretary General or the Minister of Finance?
No, the signatories. That will be the Secretary General and the Secretary to Cabinet.
Okay. And as a management, did it occur to you that maybe a tax recovery account should not be opened in a commercial bank?
Probably not.
Okay. Did it also worry you that maybe it should have been a direct request from the Minister of Finance instead of the Minister of Presidential Affairs?
Sorry, I missed.
Let me repeat. Did you wonder why the orders came or the request came from the Office of the President as opposed to the Minister of Finance? Tax is a financial issue handled by the Minister of Finance. The request was sent to a commercial bank instead of to a central bank. Second, it came from Presidential Affairs Ministry as opposed to Minister of Finance. Did it occur to you at any point in time that maybe you should have asked more questions?
Again, I refer you to the letter from the Ministry of Finance. So actually, finance must have somehow been involved in the entire process. But yes,
it's not audible. Can you move the mic closer to him? We can't hear him.
Again, I refer you to the letter from the Ministry of Finance. So somehow the Ministry of Finance must have been involved.
That letter was not written to you.
Yes, that's what I said. It wasn't written to Trust Bank. It was written to the Secretary General, Office of the President. And
it does not support your case for opening. It was addressed not to you.
Let me put it this way. With the benefit of hindsight, I quite understand what you are saying. At the moment, I am sure whoever was handling the transaction, it might not have crossed their mind. But with the benefit of hindsight, oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So, from a management standpoint, what is your understanding of a tax recovery account?
There must have been individuals, entities within the economy who owe taxes.
Right.
And there was a drive to collect those back taxes.
Good. And it should go to a revenue account?
Yes, it should ordinarily go to a revenue account.
In some of the transaction details, Council asked, what was the purpose for the withdrawal? Most of the answers were, it's not stated or we don't know.
Correct.
So the question is, do you have a policy from an audit or compliance standpoint that sets a threshold which will trigger management asking questions?
In terms of the
where is it going in terms of the withdrawals? At what point do you now want to know the purpose for the withdrawals?
At what point? Okay.
Some of the withdrawals were substantially large amounts.
Yes, I recall a 7 million and a 4 million.
There was one, yeah, exactly, 900 and something.
Welcome to From Gambia channel. Welcome to From Gambia channel. Subscribe for more
this
news.
Amount, we want
Subscribe
to know where
for
the
more
funds are
news.
headed.
I think the way the bank looks at it is whether the instruction is technically correct. What I mean by that is the authorized signatories to the transaction actually appended their signature, and all the other basic details on the account are correct. As to whether this transaction, if that's where you are driving at, is a legitimate transaction or not, no, I don't think we have that. We have that policy.
The question she asked was, do you know the purpose?
No,
so from a KYC, know your customer or customer due diligence, isn't it useful just to probe further to have an idea where the funds are headed?
It is certainly helpful. I'm not sure it is vital to the transaction when the levels are $1 million, a couple of million. I mean, you see that every day. You see $1 million transactions almost on a daily basis. So if it was let me exaggerate, if it was a $50 or $100 million transaction, that would raise eyebrows, right?
So basically, the threshold would be
$1 million would not certainly raise eyebrows.
The threshold would be above $1 million.
Would certainly be well above $1 million.
Do you have a policy saying that?
No, we don't have a policy saying if a debit transaction above X is initiated, you need to know where it is going to and who it belongs to.
Okay. So if you had a bank examination tomorrow and the central bank officials ask you, do you have a suspicious activity reporting standard for some of these accounts, what would your response be?
Oh yeah, we do. I mean, the STR are reported weekly, daily is reported. The reporting is done. So the information goes out to the relevant authority. If you ask me what they make out of it, I don't know. So somebody else really has seen the information.
So for a tax recovery account, payment going to individuals does not trigger anything to you?
Again,
individuals.
With the benefit of hindsight, yes, it really say, wow, what is this for? Yes.
The witness is yours.
I just want to clarify something. On last week, your colleague Mr. Au mentioned that this account is monitored by special people at the bank. So he mentioned, if I quote unquote, MD, the deputy MD, and the director of finance. Is this correct?
No, it's not correct.
So there's a relationship manager for this account?
This is the feedback I got. I wasn't here with him. The feedback I got was that only those three individuals had access to the account. That wasn't accurate. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't get the answer to that last question. Only, did you say only who had access to the account?
If I understood her question, she was referring that this tax recovery account, only the MD, the deputy MD, and the director of finance had access to the account.
That's what Mr. Au said.
Yes, that's what.
I'm interested in your response. I didn't quite get.
I said that is inaccurate.
Okay.
It was inaccurately reported, and I am sorry about that.
But who was managing this account? Who was the relationship manager for this account?
It was probably handled at the retail end, at the retail level, by the head of branch operations.
Head of banking operations. What was his name? From when the account was opened, 2013 to date?
2013.
His or her name?
2013 would have been a branch manager at that time, because became a head of branch operations in July of 2016.
Who were they? Who were handling this account?
Mostly it was channeled through the head of branch operations today, who is Mrs. Fatuba.
Mrs.?
Fatuba.
Mrs. Fatuba.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Did you manage this account?
Did I manage it?
Yes.
No.
I see. All right. Did you have any, the Commissioner Sen asked about your policies. Did you have any bank policies regarding the management of government accounts?
Management of government accounts, no.
Did you regard this one as a government account?
Did I?
Regard this tax recovery account as a government account?
Well, yeah, by definition, yes.
Yes. And my question is, did you have any policies regarding the management of these accounts, which unusually, even by your evidence, were opened with your bank?
Whether we have any policy regarding managing a government account?
Yes.
No direct policy that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We will require you to come back on Wednesday and provide the information that is missing from the account information of your customers. If you prefer to come at 9:30, that's fine, but you can come at 2:30 as well. Which one would be convenient for you?
On Wednesday, 9:30, 9:30 or
9:30 or 2:30?
2:30?
Very well. We'll expect you at 2:30.
2:30, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sala.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, before we release, you were going to provide the deposits into the account. You said somebody was bringing it. Do you have it?
It's just
That's
been
what you brought.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, may I crave your indulgence just for him to
How much
tender
time do I have to go through it to ensure that it is correct?
Carl, are you ready?
Just trying to.
If you're not ready, you can. When you come back, you can bring it with you.
Let's give it a shot.
We
Let's
don't
move.
have. We don't have a lot of time.
These are the deposits now. These are the credits.
You can.
This one 31, and this is 32.
The deposits into the account.
Yes.
You have them.
It's just been provided. Yes.
You have what you have is the transaction documents
Transaction documents.
and the list of depositors.
Yes, I have another statement of account, and we're just going to go through the credits this time around.
You know, when we asked you about the names of the depositors, you said you did not have the details.
Yes, that's
Yes.
what's just been provided.
Very well. Can you just read out the list of those who deposited funds and had their funds withdrawn as you have shown?
All right. The first deposit into the account on 17th of September 2013 for an amount of 593,614 came from Palmarima Limited.
Okay. Just read through everything, yes, go through. Then we'll take them.
Second credit of 226025 came from a Rene Jeffrey Michael Renner.
By 226, you mean $226,000?
$226,025.
Yes.
That's the second credit into the account. The third credit, 200,000, was made by Augustus Prom, 19th of September. Fourth credit, 19th of September. By our CISE on behalf of Jigo Construction Limited. Fifth credit, 20th of September for $1,145,765.25 butus was from Comium Gambia Limited. Sixth credit into the account, 100,000 was paid by Pakala Incorporated. Credits into the account for $40,834 is paid by Mr. Sena. It was a cash payment into the account. Eight deposits. $63,429 is paid by Dr. Adam Asala, 1st of October. October, 24,000, Mr. Emmanuel E. Chimi. Cash payment into the account. Mr. Emmanuel E. Chimi, the following day, 4th October, also paid $8,000 is cash into the account. October, credit of $120,943 is 50 butus was a payment from Kululi Clinic. October, next credit of 200,000 was paid by Augustus Prom. Following the 8th of October, a payment into the account of $100,000 was paid by Augustus Prom. 9th October, cash payment of $7,792 was paid by Emmanuel E. Chime. $300,000 on the 14th of October was paid by Aliu G. Gay into the account. 18th October, $335 paid by Emmanuel E. Chim. October, $100,000 in check payment by Augustus Prom. November 2013, payment of $96,935.
We can't hear now. Can you adjust your...
Sorry?
Can you adjust your...
Oh, you're not hearing me.